My name is Heather. I'm a 24-year-old office worker. I'm currently waiting for my date with Tim, who I've been seeing for 3 months. Truth be told, it's my first time dating a man. I was raised in a rural area where farmland stretches as far as the eye can see. There are so few people there, I used to wonder if there might be more raccoons than humans. When I moved to the city, the number of buildings and people took my breath away. I grew up in a rather strict household, or rather, due to my dad's policy, I was forced to focus primarily on my studies. But about 6 months ago, I had a big fallout with my dad. I insisted that I'm an adult and I should be allowed to make my own choices. He wouldn't back down, saying that if I wouldn't listen, I should leave. So, I stormed out, finally gaining my independence. A friend of mine took me to a mixer, and that's where I met Tim.
Heather, have you been waiting long?
Nope, I just got here. Tim is attentive and kind. Despite being busy, he always finds time for our weekly dates. And then,
could you turn around for a second?
Tim casually pulled a necklace out of his pocket and put it on me.
I don't know if you'll like it, but...
It's beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was thrilled with the necklace Tim gave me as we said our goodbyes. I loved him for thinking of me, even on non-special days. My parents never allowed me to wear a necklace. They didn't even give me birthday presents. As I happily admired the necklace he had given me, a colleague of mine said, "But you know, it's probably from a dollar store." The following day, a junior colleague told me.
Huh?
She said to my surprise, "I don't know what kind of guy he is, but he must think you're easy to please. Heather, if I were you, I'd be mad. Like, don't try to get away with a dollar store item." I was taken aback. I don't know, I didn't notice it was from the dollar store, but regardless of the price, I was happy because it was the thought that counts. "Well, if you're okay with it, then it's fine," she shrugged.
Let's break up.
I was suddenly dumped by Tim on a phone call we've had in a while. I started to notice something was off with him, who used to be so kind about 2 weeks ago. We used to call almost every day and go on dates on the weekends, but the calls and dates dwindled and he became less responsive to my messages. I didn't understand why, so I tried to reach out to him multiple times over the past few days. When Tim finally answered, he had turned cold, almost like a different person. Break up? Why? Did I do something to upset you, Tim?
No, not really.
Then why? I wanted to know the reason, but all Tim did was let out a big sigh.
Ugh, such a hassle.
Huh?
What I'm saying is, let's break up.
All of a sudden? Why? I was flustered, my voice choked with tears, but it seemed like Tim didn't like that.
Poor people always cry easily, don't they?
What? The phone call with Tim abruptly ended, and despite my numerous attempts to reach him, he never answered. Being dumped without understanding the reason, I was really down and I couldn't eat for a while. "Heather, try to cheer up. You haven't eaten anything, right? You're losing weight." My junior was worried about me and took good care of me, but I was still sad. Fast forward 3 years. One day off, I was with my junior, enjoying burgers at the park when a couple walked by. "We're going on a night cruise for dinner."
"Oh, this is the popular premium one. Awesome. I can't wait."
I recognized the voice, and when I looked up, there I saw Tim, wearing a glossy suit and a flashy woman wearing a short jacket, a miniskirt, and high heels. I was surprised by the unexpected reunion, but Tim not only didn't notice me, he snorted dismissively at me and my junior.
Ew, that's lame. Fast food at the park totally screams poverty.
"Ha ha ha, if you say something like that, she might cry. We have to watch over her with warm eyes, as this is probably her best." The woman, who appeared to be Tim's girlfriend, not only did not reprimand him, but also joined in laughing at us. "Tim!"
Whoa, you... Heather, right?
3 years later, the chance encounter was as bad as the day we broke up.
Haha, I'm shocked. I knew you were poor, but you're still scraping the bottom. You're really lame. Breaking up was the right call.
Tim, who was momentarily startled, looked at me, my junior, and the burgers we were eating and sneered. "Wait, Tim, you used to date someone like this? I can't believe it. Were you blind?" The woman entwined her arm with Tim's and waved her hand with their flashy nail art as if to fan herself.
I thought she was the modest type when we first met at a party. She seemed like a food connoisseur, which made me think she might be rich, but she was happy with a dollar store necklace. What a poor girl. It was such a turnoff. And now she's eating a burger at a park. Totally bottom class. Tim kept sneering and saying horrible things. His attitude and impression had greatly changed from when we were dating, and I was a bit confused. In place of me, my junior raised her voice. "Hey, how could you be so rude? Apologize right now." You're annoying. Birds of a feather flock together. People like you always have a big mouth. I totally get it. They bark back right away, but in the end, they're just like a barking dog with no bite, right?
They continued to look down on us and laugh with a superior attitude. Hey, enough is enough. Heather is... Let's just ignore them. But Heather... My junior seemed still upset, but I saw people around us whispering and looking bothered, so I calmed my junior down.
Ha ha, Heather, you can't even argue back. You're really hopeless. Well, enjoy being poor.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like you'll ever be able to pull off brand name clothes like us. What the heck? While I was calming down the fiery subordinate, the two of them left briskly. Heather, aren't you upset? Losing to that fake brand couple? Could it be you still had feelings for him? To my still furious junior, I shook my head, implying it's not what she thought. Want to go on a dinner cruise? Huh? The junior was caught off guard for a moment. And are their clothes really knockoffs? Upon confirming my nod, I explained my plan to her. Ha ha ha, let's give them the show. A few hours later, dressed up, my junior and I headed for the dinner cruise. There was a long line for the popular dinner cruise, where people could enjoy city lights from a luxury liner and fancy dinner. Noticing the couple we saw in the daytime in that line, my junior and I walked past them.
Huh? Heather?
Tim waved his hand in dismissal as he noticed us.
What's up, broken lowly woman? You missed me so much you followed me here, even changing your clothes. No can do. Honestly, I can't deal with someone like you.
Next to him, Tim's girlfriend was also laughing. You regret it that much? Too bad you can't get a ticket now. Even I had a hard time getting this. She waved the tickets and grinned. Too bad for you. My junior, in a cheerful mood next to me, pulled out the tickets from her purse. Those are just regular tickets, right? You struggled to get those? Heather can easily get express tickets, even on the same day. What?
And not just express, but the most expensive private room, premium tickets. Those are not less than several $1,000s, right?
Seeing their shocked faces, my junior grinned. Well, good luck with the line. Leading my grinning junior, I bypassed the long line and headed towards the express gate.
Why? Why?
What the heck, Tim? What's her deal? She isn't just a lowly woman, right? Their voices reached us from afar. Serve them right. Isn't that right, Heather? My junior seemed happy that our revenge went well. Half an hour later, as a departure time approached, Tim and his girlfriend approached us on the exclusive terrace where we were enjoying our welcome drinks. Shouldn't this area be off limits with your tickets?
Shut up and explain.
Tim approached aggressively. As my junior frowned, she whispered to me that she was going to call someone and quickly turned around. Unperturbed, Tim continued to pressure me.
Why does a lowlife like you have express tickets? And you even made a fool out of us in public. Thanks to you, we were laughed at while we were in line. We've been embarrassed and can't keep quiet anymore.
That's right. You must have gone into debt or something to force your way through. Now get laughed at by the express passengers. Apologize now for a poor person overstretching. As the couple kept making a fuss, the other passengers on the terrace started to gather around. Then Tim, who was staring at my chest, let out a creepy chuckle.
Even if you somehow managed to get the ticket, this is not acceptable, Heather.
Huh? As I tilted my head, Tim put his hands in his pockets, puffed his chest out, and looked confident.
Well, even if you change your clothes, I bet it's just some cheap junk. Did you dump all your money into the ticket, strutting around with a necklace from the dollar store, and you think you're some big shot? Gonna live off of just water in the park tomorrow, huh? Haha, no, that's funny.
A dollar store? I stared at Tim intently as I repeated his words.
Are you really into these kids' toys? But come on, it's pathetic for an adult to be wearing dollar store stuff.
Tim pointed to my necklace and laughed loudly for everyone to hear. As the murmurs among the passengers grew louder, Tim's girlfriend too raised her voice. Timmy, you're lucky you dumped this poor woman. Now you're in love with me. Both of them laughed, calling me a poor woman again. I didn't think you were this kind of person when we were dating. I regret being so blind. As I retorted, Tim laughed as if it was the funniest thing he'd heard.
That's rich coming from you. She's a real lady compared to you. I'm embarrassed that I even dated someone like you. Give me back the time I wasted on you, you poor thing.
Tim's voice echoed throughout the patio. As the crowd around us backed away, we heard some people hurrying toward us. Security, over here. Catch them, those two. A junior colleague led the security officers who swiftly surrounded Tim and his girlfriend.
What the hell, man?
Get out of our way, you're ruining everything. Although they protested loudly, their tickets didn't allow them access to this area in the first place. Moreover, their ruckus attracted a crowd and security managed to hold them.
We're customers, you can't just grab us like this.
You should be grabbing that woman. She's the one who doesn't belong here, she's poor. But the security officers maintained a stern look, glaring at the rowdy pair. Despite this, Tim did not stop hurling insults at me. Enough already! My junior colleague raised her voice. I don't know what you're misunderstanding, but Heather isn't poor.
Huh, are you just bluffing? Hilarious.
That's right, you liar. It's not a lie. There are people here who knows her, right? At the urging of my colleague, a few hands rose among the passengers. Raise your hands those who can confirm that Heather is the future president and that this cruise is managed by a subsidiary of the large company run by her father. Hands were raised.
Huh?
Tim and his girlfriend finally stopped their resistance and let out a dumbfounded voice. Their mouths were wide open.
Future president?
Unable to grasp the situation, Tim looked back and forth between me and the other passengers. What does that mean?
You said you were just a regular employee.
At the time, I was. I opened my mouth slowly. I was fed up with all the business studies forced on me, so I quarreled with my father and left home. I chose to work at a company unrelated to my father because I wanted to be away from him. But then, 2 years ago, my father fell ill and I returned home. When I was down being dumped by Tim, I accepted my father's apology, who had softened due to his illness, and returned to the path of management.
It can't be.
In a state of shock, Tim was further devastated by my junior associate. Tim, your outfit tonight, top to bottom, was all my doing. You wanted it to look low-key expensive, so it may look plain, but you needed hundreds of Benjamins.
What?
Oh, and the necklace is separate. Do you think it was a dollar store toy? What a pity. Heather, how much was that? About $100,000, I guess.
What?
No way. Chuckles leaked out from the onlookers as Tim and his girlfriend seemed like they had their souls sucked out. I apologize, everyone. My father is always under your care. Today, he invited everyone as a thank you for your hard work, and I didn't mean to intrude. Yes, the reason I was able to get tickets was that today was just that day. The people present were the employees and their families. Tim, realizing my toy-like necklace was actually an ultra-luxury item worth over $100,000, was wide-eyed. His face turned pale as he finally grasped the situation.
Heather?
He had lost all his momentum from before under the cold gazes from the surroundings. Realizing now is too late, I was actually happy with a dollar store necklace. I've never been to a dollar store because I've always been studying and I'm not interested in clothes or accessories. My junior associate gave a wry smile beside me. Right, Tim, you're not into that sort of thing, but don't worry, I'm here for that. I'm quite the sharp-eyed selector. Plus, your sense in the food market is top-notch. The burger you had for lunch will be all over the country in a month. Don't underestimate fast food, okay? Tim, slumped with his shoulders down, was turning to ashes along with his silent girlfriend. Security, please escort them out. The junior associate urged their departure with a teasing wave.
Wait, Heather, I'm so sorry, I was wrong. I'll apologize for everything. I'll break up with her, so...
What? Flip-flopping now? Who do you think got you on this cruise in the first place?
Shut up, you flashy woman. You don't see your gaudy brand clothes at all.
What did you say? You're not cool at all, even in your shiny clothes. Apologize to the clothes, say sorry for not being suitable for brand items. In the end, as security was about to escort the two arguing among themselves, I smiled and said, You two seem to think each other's clothes are brand name, but those are knockoffs, aren't they?
Huh?
What? The two looked at each other startled. You can fool each other, but you know you're wearing fake brands, right? But I'm thinking, if you can fool each other, doesn't that mean neither of you have an eye for quality? Well, I can't really talk since I can't tell the difference with dollar store items. The passengers, noticing my sarcasm, giggled again. You. Don't mess with me, you. Shaking off the security, they both hurled insults at each other. Well, they won't be able to sit at their dinner table anymore. They probably overreached to get their tickets. The junior associate shrugged. The dinner course is so good I wanted to show off. I wish they could have at least eaten it. You're so serious about it, it's funny. The junior associate laughed out loud. But all the same, while it makes sense for you, should I really have let you buy such an expensive outfit for me? Absolutely. Between us, the CEO is about to change soon. My dad is fine now, but he's saying he can't handle the load anymore because of his age. This outfit and necklace you chose, I plan on using them for the inauguration ceremony. Will you attend in that outfit as well? Well, if that's the case, I'm thrilled. I'll follow your lead from now on. Let's stay friends even when we're old as grandmas, okay? Yeah. With such conversations, we enjoyed a dinner cruise. A few hours later, as we disembarked from the ship, Tim was waiting for us.
Hey Heather, let's give it another shot, you and me. I promise I'll turn over a new leaf. 'Cause I don't think I'll ever meet someone as pure-hearted as you, who can be moved by something from a dollar store.
Tim's belly grumbled loudly as he begged pitifully. It seems they had been isolated in an empty room during the cruise as their ruckus was disturbing the other guests. You didn't eat dinner, did you?
Nah, skipping a meal ain't a big deal. More importantly, I beg you, Heather.
In response to Tim pleading, I took something out of my bag. Here, if you'd like, you can have this.
Aw, thanks, Heather. Wait, what's this?
A wristwatch from a dollar store.
What? Heather, are you trying to get back at me?
Don't call me Heather. I don't want to see you at all from now on. If this was worth $100,000, you'd be happy, wouldn't you? But if it's a dollar store item, you don't want it. In the end, all you see is money.
Wait a minute.
Excuse me, security.
Ugh.
Tim was restrained by the security guards once again and dragged away. Later, I heard that Tim had caused another uproar, arguing with his girlfriend, and ended up getting reported. Apparently, he's often seen at the park bloating his stomach with water. I'm sure he's broken up with his girlfriend. On the other hand, I, who successfully became CEO, am now working hard every day with a reliable junior at my side. The newly launched burger chain is also doing better than expected, and there's even talk of opening more new stores. I haven't found a new love interest yet, but I hope to meet a good person next time.
Having a baby at your age would mean you'd give birth to a dumb kid. I don't have time for that. I'd like a divorce. That's what my husband said after finding out that I was pregnant. To him, a wife and a child were just assets to his life. If the asset didn't suit him, he'd move on to the next. We were replaceable. But 30 years passed, and he was stunned to discover how my daughter turned out. This is your daughter? My name is Harriet O'Neill. I'm no one special, just an average person with an average life. Born to average parents, I went to school and got a job. I had excellent grades and got accepted to a prestigious university in my town with a full ride scholarship. I was so grateful. At the time, the economy was rough, and I was grateful to have landed a job at a huge company. I knew I had to work hard. Before I knew it, I turned 30. I was worried I was running out of time to find a husband or a potential life partner. I'm in love with you. Let's make this official. Thomas, then 26, declared. I asked him if he was sure he wanted to be with someone older than him. Harriet, you're sweet. You're amazing at your job. You are the perfect woman. He always knew just what to say. A year later, I turned 31, and we got married. We always knew we wanted to have kids one day, so I changed jobs to start planning to have a child. However, a year passed, and then 3 years passed, then 5. We still hadn't fallen pregnant. We decided to give up on trying and get used to the idea of living life as a childless couple. Then I turned 41, and my doctor had some shocking news. You're pregnant. I had been waiting to hear those words for over 10 years. I went to tell Thomas the exciting, shocking news. Huh? You're pregnant? Right now? He didn't sound too happy. Aren't you excited? No, I'm not excited. You're 41. Thomas shook his head. You're too old to be pregnant, and you're too old to have a child. Aren't you embarrassed by that at all? No, I don't think I'm too old. Why would I be embarrassed? Well, I am. I mean, a 41-year-old woman who just so happens to be my wife falls pregnant. This is going to ruin me. He kept going. Having a baby at your age would probably result in a dumb child, right? There's a high chance they might have some kind of disability. I can't raise a failure. Wow, I am having this baby. Fine, then we're getting a divorce. Raise the kid on your own. I couldn't believe what he said. I didn't want to, but he was serious. The next day, he had the papers ready to go. So, I made my decision too. Alright, I'll get a divorce. I knew I was going to have my baby. While signing the papers, Thomas kept talking. You know, I only married you because of your degree. I thought that marrying a smart, capable woman would guarantee a smooth married life. I never imagined you'd turn out to be this dumb. Thomas had an impressive education himself, and thought marrying a smart woman would help maintain his image. We were married for 10 years, and I never realized that this was the truth. No questions asked. You'll have custody. I'm not paying for child support, and I don't want to meet it. I don't ever want to be associated with you or that child. Alright. If I had known it was going to be like this, I would have never bothered with you. My child doesn't need a toxic father in their life. So I was grateful he said those things, because I didn't want a dime from him anyway. I wasn't going to argue with that. After we divorced, I moved back into my parents' home and gave birth, surrounded by my loving friends and family. I named my lovely baby girl Nancy. Unlike Thomas's prediction, she was born full term, healthy, stable, and fully developed. Her body is strong, like an athlete's. She's even better at sports than I was. But most importantly, she has a beautiful heart. Such a heart that I was not expecting. Living this life with Nancy wasn't going to be so bad after all. And I was glad Thomas and I didn't work out. And before I knew it, the thought of his existence was long forgotten, and 30 years went by. Harriet? Thomas? We bumped into each other unexpectedly at a well-known hospital in the area. I was in the hospital gown, and Thomas was walking in as a visitor. He was surprised to see me, and he noticed what I was wearing. So, you're an inpatient, huh? Sad. I may not know how sick you are, but with that baby you decide to have and your own issues, I know those medical bills are ridiculous. Excuse me? You had that baby, right? You were too old to carry and deliver a child. I know that child didn't develop correctly. Your baby's cost of treatments on top of yours? Yikes. He was quick to belittle me and jump to conclusions. He's still the same, after 30 years. Actually, he's gotten worse, as if that was even possible. After you, I remarried as soon as I could. She's 20, but real mature and beautiful. She's got a great body and face on her. I had a son with her, and people assume he's an aspiring male model because of his good genetics. I didn't ask nor care, but he was bragging about his life. Oh yeah, I was only a manager when I met you, but now I work for corporate. Well, that sounds great for you. Wow, if I never left you, I would have been stuck with the misery of you and that baby. I was baffled. I know it's his ego, but seriously? I know better than to stoop down to his level. I'm better than that. I heard someone coming over, hopefully to try and save me from this conversation. Mom? What are you doing? Is your exam over? I'm sorry. Did she just call you Mom? A young woman doctor in a white coat appeared before us. Yeah, sorry, honey. Let me introduce you guys. This is... I stopped myself. How was I supposed to introduce him? Thomas never existed in our lives, and his name was never brought up, and I never mentioned him to her. Nancy stood there, glaring at him, and said, I could hear what you were talking about from all the way over there. I could put together that he's my biological father. I just never expected it to be you, Thomas. Wait, Nancy, you know him? Not personally, I never met him, but he's quite the talk around the hospital. His son is hospitalized with diabetes, but he and his wife don't listen to the doctors and sneak in food. His wife causes a lot of trouble about it. Nancy was working her residency as a doctor at this hospital. Despite how young she was well admired and respected in the medical field and community. What Thomas was saying about his son was clearly a lie. His face was stiff and as white as a ghost. I thought he was an aspiring male model. He just loves his food. He's a growing boy. He's fine. Nancy sighed annoyingly at him. Please throw away whatever is in that bag of yours. I know it's filled with snacks and sodas. Thomas, if you continue to do this, we'll have to take action on behalf of the hospital. You're my daughter, right? And you're a doctor, so fix my son. I am not your daughter, and you don't get to call me that. You're a stranger, no father of mine. You're just the father of a patient. Nothing more, nothing less. She immediately shot him down. Whatever. You let that doctor head of yours get to your ego, acting all superior and better than me. Excuse me? Who cares that you're a doctor? You're useless. I work as the head of a multi-million-dollar corporation. He was trying to compete with her. He wanted to establish his authority over her and put her in her place. A typical thing for Thomas to do. Regardless, your mother is an old wrinkled hag who needs to be hospitalized and will be alone for the rest of their life. You have nothing on me. You're a loser. You lost. Thomas laughed loudly. He got some things wrong though, so I wanted to correct him. Thomas, I'm wearing a gown because I'm here for a checkup, not because I'm an inpatient. I came for an exam because the hospital director recommended it, who also happens to be my husband. Huh? Director, your husband? Thomas shrieked in disbelief. Yes, my husband is the director of this hospital. After the divorce, I found a new job so that I could afford to raise Nancy. I met my husband at this job. It was a medical supply company. He was a doctor there at the time, and we got married. He loved Nancy the moment he met her. Nancy quickly grew attached and wanted to become a doctor just like him. So she fulfilled her dream and now works here with him. Your daughter is a doctor, and your husband is the hospital director? No way. How are you living a better life than me? His ego was shot, and he lowered his head, grumbling at himself. Mom, let's go. Okay, but just leave him. He's not our problem. Thomas stood there, frozen, watching his daughter walk away and abandon him. Then, one day, Thomas's wife caused a scene at the hospital. The doctor demanded, once again, stop bringing outside food and drinks into the hospital. Instead of being respectful, she was immediately defensive. She started to become physical with the nurse and was forced to be escorted out. They were denied care and were banned from the hospital. No other hospitals were able to take them in, and they were forced to provide him with home care instead. His diet stayed the same, however, and his condition worsened. I have no idea what Thomas was thinking, because he came looking and begging for Nancy's help afterwards. Please, do something. Why should I have to do something for someone I don't even know? I'm your father, and my father is the hospital director. What are you talking about? You rejected me before I was even born, and now you're saying you're my father? You should be ashamed of yourself. Nancy ignored him, and she didn't think twice about it. Thomas's finances were dwindling due to his son's medical bills. His wife spent their money splurging on herself, and she wasn't helping. At this point, the rest of his life wasn't looking too good. It was proven to be true, because Thomas eventually found his way to our house to try and negotiate with my husband and I. But my husband cut him off and threatened him. If you don't leave right now, I will call the police. He marched away and left, his car speeding off the property. I received my results of the exam I had at the hospital, and everything looked good. I was worried because of my age, but thanks to my husband, a caring hospital director, and my daughter, a brilliant doctor, I was in good hands. It's because of them that I know I will always be happy and healthy. Life is unpredictable, but I want to live a life without regrets. And as for me, the decision I made that day is one that I will never regret.